Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And this is part 2 of the Heavenly Conquest Storm Dragon event for August of 2024. Part 1 had 4 different teams that, we used that came out after the original release of this event back in December of 2023. So we have now, I think, 4 videos on the channel that has teams that can clear this. So if none of those videos work for you, this is kind of your last hope. I can't make a video on every single team combination ever. You'll have to kind of substitute people in and out as you have or don't have them and try and make do. Thankfully, the rewards for this is not, super exciting. It is 50 crystals. There is a bingo board that has the Season 3 Part 3 medals that I don't want to click on yet because it'll just accept them all. But yeah, I can show it. Hold on. I have it saved somewhere. Here it is. It is this. So, win with Benny Mario, Shion, Shuna, Veldora, Rimuru, Diablo, Soe, and Gabta in a battle slot. We have done all of these in some way, shape, or form over the past last video. The only one left is using a Soe, and that's just purely because he doesn't have a lot of units. But today, we will be using a few teams that have Soe. Thank the Lord. So let's just jump in. Alright, so the first team of the video is going to be the Commander meta with Renard, Shizu, free-to-play Glenda, Diablo, and Hinata. I think a lot of people summon for this meta, and it's a fairly good meta. We are also going to bring Water Soe, specifically because we need the mission. He's physical, and he will help us tank a little bit better against those Veldora ults, because at least my Soe is skill fused, which means we lower Veldora's attack and buff our defense for 2 turns, for a very cheap cost. If he's not skill fused, he just raises your defense, which, can still be useful. And if you need the mission done, he's not really going to hurt you. This team has enough firepower to kill, so it's not that big of a loss by just swapping in a almost useless Soe, just for the mission, though. And if you don't really care about the Soe mission, then you can just put someone else in here. Okay, so turn 1, you can reset this as long as you like until you get a good hand, and we do get a good hand, because we can just use Shizu's Convert, make a whole hand of blue, and then bring Hinata and Diablo in. So we are starting with 36 points because Soe is one of the skill point turn 1 units, which is nice. It doesn't mean all that much, but it does just make things a little easier. So 6 there. Obviously we're going for a Diablo single target alt, EX alt, because he is the strongest DPS character. Hinata is a secondary DPS option if you need to use her, but Diablo with his attack buff and everything and his synergy power is going to really push the damage threshold. So we'll bring Shizu back in. We'll just burn these Shizu orbs because we don't have enough points to actually use both orb changes, which we would have needed to. And then we come back with another Shizu hand. So that worked out pretty well. Diablo and Shizu are both binded in, which is not terribly a huge deal, because with Diablo and his Lord's Ambition skill, we can actually remove that debuff. Not that I want to, because he's got 4 orbs here, but he rushes his own ult. He removes those debuffs, which means that he won't take that poison or frostbite damage. He's no longer binded. So if you needed to get him out of there for something, he makes that possible. We've now used Soe's defense up and attack nerf skill now to prep for the next couple of turns, because here he doesn't do much, but the next turn he's going to ult. So we could have used it, last turn, could use it this turn. I'm just trying to save us as much damage as possible, because we had enough points to use it, so why not? 2 stacks of Renard. Glenda does have the alt swap. We have now 159 points, which is enough to use both orb changes and the alt swap. So this will work out very, very well. And then we're going to take the alt. We're going to swap out Soe, so Hinata or Glenda, Hinata won't have that extra defense, but Veldora's attack is still lowered, which means that we'll not take as much. We'll still take some, but not as much. And we're almost at an EX alt for Diablo. We're just a tiny, tiny bit away. One more Lord's Ambition can get us there. And then this alt does 1,200 against Diablo, 3,900 against Hinata. So, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And even if his attack wasn't lowered and Soe wasn't skill fused, you would still take less damage. And that's the most important thing. So on turn 5, this is his counterattack turn. So we don't really want to hit him all that much. So I think I just send the green Shizu Orb and then make it a full hand of blues next turn. I think I'm thinking about it really hard here. What do we do? Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I mean, sure, that works. We can do that. So, alt swap. I guess we're gonna take some counters today. All right, defense up, attack lower, stacker Vernard. This will get Diablo's EX alt, and we're just gonna send it, and it's gonna hurt. I don't really recommend doing this if your characters are not as tanky, but you know, we have a lot of HP on Diablo. He can take these as long as he doesn't get super focused next turn. He'll be okay. But ideally, if you were just gonna, you know, like crap a turn off, you would just send the one green orb, and then Shizu could convert the rest, and then Glenda, and then we would just have to go to turn 7 or something after taking this alt. But here, you know, we've got the points, so let's buff up. We've got the EX alt, so 8, 16, and 24. I think we have to not use a skill here. No, okay, we got enough. Never mind. No, we don't have enough, actually. Oh, we go another turn, then. Okay. So we go another turn. Turn 7, then. Because I want enough points to use everything. Because obviously we need the synergy from Glenda to activate the synergy down and Diablo's synergy power. So I think... yeah, we're just going to send these blues, get max points. Now we can use all of the skills. That hurt a little bit. He was still attack lowered. The Frostbite kicks in. Doesn't really matter. As long as we can swap one of the characters out, which is always a possibility, then we're going to be good. So, personal buff, the alt buff from Hinata. We'll bring Shizu in, and then we'll use the other 2 buffs. Excellent. And now we can nuke with Diablo and his EX, and he's going to do more than enough damage. He does 1.8 million. Veldora only has 1 million HP, so probably we could have gotten away with it last turn without all the buffs and still been fine. But there we go. That's the commander team against Veldora. Let's move on. Alright, the next team is going to be the current meta, the Ogre's Pride team with, you know, the full damage buffs going on. Benimaru, the new Soe, so he's back for another mission. Blanc, Elmisia, Momiji, and Violet. I mean, if you don't have Elmisia, you can bring another Orb Changer. You can bring, like, Water Shuna. You could bring EX Earth Guy. Like, there are substitutions. You don't need this much power in this fight, right? This is way too much overkill. So a lot of these options are easily swappable, as long as you have, you know, relatively the same kind of damage buff, just less of it. But, you know, don't be afraid to run, you know, a different character than what I have here. Blanc, I mean, her weakness strike is useless here. Like, actually useless. We're already getting synergy resistance down from Momiji, so the only reason she's here is for the alt swap. And you could bring free-to-play Rieger for that. Like, it really doesn't matter. So she's not doing anything here. Like I said, Elmisia can be swapped out for an Orb Changer and an alt buffer like Guy or Water Shuna. Violet, I mean, you kind of want her Orb Change and the magic buff. It's going to bring a lot of power. Soe, again, he's here for the mission more than anything else. And Momiji is the nuker. And even though she's AoE, she's still going to get the job done. Alright, so looking at turn 1, we've got 5 Soe orbs, which means we have 5 Momiji orbs. So we can't really Orb Change out of this, but we can certainly make do with it. And, I mean, if you brought Hakuro, I mean, maybe you could have done it, depending on if you had another unit. But here, we've got a good Violet Orb Change and a couple Momiji orbs, so that's looking very good. That's why Violet's kind of important. So let's do that. Let's get the Elmisia HP buff for the Enamor skill, the extra 15% alt gauge at the end of every turn. We've got a charm for Benimaru that's giving Momiji extra alt gauge, I think. Or no, it's a heal charm, actually, my bad. It is a heal charm that we're running, because we're going to go quite a few ways into this fight, and we got to stay alive. So, Now we have the Momiji ult. Excellent, cool. Another perfect orb change for Violet, and then we can swap her out for Blanc and use her ult swap, get a full hand of blue. This will heal up Elmisia, probably. Yep, there we go. And then we keep on sending. And it's just this for... We're going to go to turn 8, I think, with this team. And because of the heal charm, we're going to be relatively okay. I mean, we're still going to be kind of low on HP overall, but this keeps us a little bit more in the game. So another stack with Benimaru. This is going to heal Blanc up. Momiji and Elmisia have gone back down to their normal HP caps, so they don't get the heal at all. Another ult swap. We have points now for both orb changes from Violet and Soe. So, I mean, again, you don't need Blanc here. If you bring Rieger, he's got an orange giver and an ult swap. He's going to work really well. So, this is looking pretty good. We have the EX ult from Momiji on turn 4. So, we just need to now build up enough points to use everything and go to turn 8 so we can benefit off of the Pierce power from Benimaru. Which, again, you probably don't actually need that. If you can use at least the 300 skill points in one turn to activate Soe and his 100% synergy power, you're going to be looking okay. This is the counterattack turn, so we only sent one Blanc orb. We've made it so that we have yet another perfect Violet orb change hand. Momiji doesn't need to be up front really anymore because we're not really stacking anything with her. And Benimaru is only going to give her something on turn 8. So we're free and easy sending these orbs now without worrying about bringing Momiji in and out and ult swapping and all that jazz. So took that ult. We are taking damage. More Frostbite, more Bind. That's okay. You know, we have Elmisia who can be swapped out. We have the orb changes. We have the points. Or we can just send some blues, get another stack of Benimaru, and get max points up to 400. And then we'll be looking real good. So, Soe took that hit. He's not looking too hot, but it doesn't matter. Elmisia buff will still hit Momiji in the back. We'll swap her away. We'll use the... Actually, we'll not use Soe right now. We have to use the other skills before him so he can actually get the 300 skill points to get the extra 100% synergy power. So, gotta be smart. And I do need to use Blanc's skill here because I need to. So, 1, and then... we will use that. And now we have the 100% synergy power. We have 2 more stacks of Benimaru. This is now the 100% Pierce power. We're going to heal Soe back up. Nice. Doesn't really matter. And then Momiji does 5.8 million damage. Yeah, it's a bit unnecessary. I don't think we needed to go to turn 8 for Benimaru. We could have probably just nuked on turn 5 or something, and we maybe would have been fine. This team is just stacked to crap with raw power, so he only has 1 million HP, guys. You don't need another 4.8 million off of it, but it's kind of fun to see. So this team can definitely do it, and it's not even a single ult, or a single target ult. Alright, the final team that I have for you is a hodgepodge of units. We've got Fount of Wisdom Diablo, Albus, and Rimuru. So we've got orb changing covered there. Rimuru's doing the 2 oranges, Albus is doing the 2 greens. Albus has the pierce and pierce down. Rimuru has the physical buff and physical resistance down. Diablo is stacking alt resistance down just like Renard was, but better because he's doing it at 15%. We've got Exalted Champion Guy. Odd pick, but he does work because he is able to rush Blanc's alt and give her synergy and synergy power. And because Blanc herself is stacking ult damage, attack, and pierce power, Albus will be able to activate that. And then we've got Old Light Millum as a self-converting unit for blue orbs and able to give Blanc an extra 45% attack. So we are nuking with Blanc. She is under the Fount of Wisdom banner, so she does get the extra stats from Diablo. And this is like the best thing I could come up with of a bunch of random units that was not like a full meta team. And it does work. It does require a decent amount of RNG because unfortunately, Blanc is best used underneath the Protector Violet, so you can use a bunch of stacks of her self buffs quickly. We can't do that here. And it does get kind of expensive because Diablo is the oldest EX stacking protector, and he's just not as efficient as what the new ones are. Alright, so starting out, we are looking for a pretty decent hand turn 1 for this team, because we need all the help we can get. So here, we've got a pretty good hand. We could use Albus, we could use Milim, like, it really doesn't matter. They're both the same cost. I just decided to bring Milim in because we're probably going to end up using her a bit less than the dedicated green converter, so I wanted to keep that as cheap as possible. And then we'll bring Blanc in, use her 2 free skills that's going to buff her attack, her ult, her pierce power, and the amount of ult gauge we get on every orb, which is going to help us get her EX ult. I believe I'm also running a heal charm for this team. Alright, that is an unfortunate hand that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to, but we're just going to work with it. So I think we just send the green orbs, if anything. So, yep, you come in, and yep, with green orbs, we get another stack of Diablo off of those, which is good. And now we can use both of the orb changes. Both of them are binded in, so it's not like we can do anything about it. Blanc only has 1 orb, though, which isn't really that great. But let's use the orbs, and then we have enough points to continue to use one of Blanc's buffs. The extra ult damage and pierce power buff is much more impactful for damage than the other skill that's attack only, and then the ult gauge on orbs. I'm not too worried about that since we are going to turn 8. We're going to be here for a while, and we already have a decent amount of gauge for her. Unfortunately, she's just not getting too many orbs. But here, we can bring in Milim for Albus, convert those, and then that leaves us with just 1 orange that Rimuru can change. And then we'll bring Guy in. And again, I talk about orbs and everything. It doesn't really matter because Guy is able to ult rush Blanc. So as long as we can get up to, a full ult for Blanc, we can just give her extra. So buff there, and then rush the ult. It is not enough. It is just shy of getting us the EX ult for Blanc, which is really, really unfortunate, because now we have to use some extra points that I didn't really want to use. We would have needed a 3rd Blanc orb right there, or maybe instead of using the Pierce and ult buff, we just only use the attack buff for her, which I don't really want to do. So we're going to hold her in the back for now. I just want to send orbs. And this is the counter turn, and we have an ult, so we're just going to send the ult so we can't get countered. And now we're looking pretty good. Look at all these Rimuru orbs that Milim can change. So, Milim for Rimuru. Boom. And then we can use the Albus orb change for that 1 green orb. And then, because Albus doesn't have an orb at all, we can bring Blanc in, and then rush her ult fully with another stack of Guy. Or not. We can just use that instead. I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't do that. That might have been a misplay right there. We probably should have rushed the Guy ult instead, because that would have given Blanc her EX. She could have gone away next turn. Oh well. Misplay there. Guy is almost dead. He does not get poisoned, though, which is very, very important, because I don't know if he would have lived if he got binded, poisoned, and frostbit. So, get him the hell out of there. We can leave Blanc in, because now we have her EX ult. We just need to have enough points to use most of the buffs. So, because Diablo does not stack as efficiently as the other, newer protectors, we're not getting 40 points every single turn, or 50 points. We're getting 30, which you really, really start to notice. So, in this scenario, it's turn 8, and we only have enough to use 3 skills, not all 4. So we're going to use the most impactful ones. We need to use the Pierce from Albus because Blanc's kit is geared towards Pierce. We need to use the physical buff, and we need to use the synergy. So we're going to miss out on the extra attack from Milim, but we can send this full hand. Milim does 31k, not a lot. Guy does 58k, not a lot. And Blanc does 1.1 million damage. So even though we didn't have that Milim buff, we still had enough going on to clear. So it does require some RNG. I did make a few misplays in here too, so you could make up for that as well. But this was probably the most efficient kind of mixed bag team that I have been able to use. I've been trying this all day yesterday and this morning, and a lot of the runs of teams that I have not shown that are mixed bags have not really been very successful. But if you have other teams that I have not showcased in this video or the previous 4 of them, please let me know in the comments so other people can see it and try it out, and maybe it'll give them some success. But that's it from me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.